So, first of all, customer reviews. The key thing to understand about customer reviews is that they are now part of everyday business. Like it or not, customer reviews are around, they're everywhere. If you Google yourselves, you'll find that you've got reviews you didn't even know about from consumers. Consumers post reviews on Facebook accounts, on Twitter. They're happening all around us. They're part of everyday business. It's an established part of the consumer journey, part of the research process that determines where you're going to buy and what you're going to buy. And perhaps the most frightening aspect of consumer reviews above all is the issue of actually not even seeing a customer in the first place. In the motor industry, we rely on footfall, we rely on people coming over the threshold. That is our opportunity to sell to them. If we don't even get them over the threshold because reviews have stopped that process, we're missing on opportunities that we didn't even know about. So the point here, and this is David's slide, and I'm trying to remember what he was going to say, but you can't afford to ignore consumer reviews. And in fact, what I'm going to say to you today is that you shouldn't ignore them, you shouldn't accommodate them, you should embrace them, you should make them part of your day-to-day activity. So, as the head of dealer propositions for the RAC, let me tell you why I decided to take consumer reviews as part of our mainstream business. RAC is a well-known brand. We have something approaching 8 million consumers that interact with us for various different products. And as such, it's important that our brand reputation is maintained at all times. So we use consumer reviews to get an honest and open appraisal from customers about their interaction with those dealers that are affiliated to our business, those dealers that use our brand and benefit from the association they have with the RAC. Those honest appraisals are there not to act and serve as a big stick in order to beat dealers with it. It's not that at all. What we're looking to do is to better the consumer experience, the customer journey. What we want is customers knowing that where they see the RAC brand, they're going to get a good customer journey. So it's very important for us at the RAC that we engage consumers in the process of feedback. Ultimately, he says, if I can work this, yay! Ultimately, this is what we're trying to do. We want to create a great customer journey which repeats on itself. So you don't have a customer once, but you have a customer for life. And I'm going to try and show you a few things that will help you achieve that. So how do we use reviews? First of all, we engage every consumer that has an RAC product that they get from our dealer affiliates. We engage them in the process of feedback. We invite them, each and every one, to leave feedback via email or via text. We do this post-event because we know that you're much more likely to get an honest appraisal outside of the sales environment than you are actually in the environment. So trying to capture feedback actually at the dealership is going to be skewed because people generally don't like conflict. So we want honest appraisals, so we invite feedback post-sale. Now, those responses that we get from the consumer that are very positive, we publish those live to our website straight away so that the dealer can benefit from that positive spin immediately. Where we get a review which is negative and the customer has had difficulties or they're not particularly pleased with the service they've got, we suspend that review going live for a period of 7 days. So we allow the dealer the opportunity to address the issues that have been raised by the consumer and, most importantly, post their own response to that. So I think it's really important that we understand that the consumer does not expect our businesses to be perfect. They do, however, expect that when things go wrong, that we put them right. So it's fundamentally important that we have the opportunity to do that. So allowing that 7-day grace period allows the dealer to address any issues that the consumer may have and then post a response. For example, I'm not happy with Smith's dealers because they forgot to put the mud flaps on my car. A response would be very simple. Really sorry, it was an oversight on our part. We're going to send somebody out straight away and they're going to resolve that for you. We're going to get those mud flaps on for you this evening. And what the dealer is able to do publicly is demonstrate their commitment to customer service. So again, going back to the point I made earlier on, there's no expectation of you being perfect, there's just an expectation that you can deliver good service when things go wrong. And in fact, I would argue that the true measure of a business isn't when everything goes swimmingly. The true measure of a business is how you perform when things go wrong. That's what sets you out between everybody else. So, what we're trying to do here is demonstrate the importance of using reviews yourselves to generate traffic to your business. Now here, the RAC promotes our dealer affiliates. This particular dealer has got 10 reviews, scoring 5 stars for everything that they do. Pretty good review, and that's going to drive traffic to them. So any consumer looking at our website now, looking for a dealer, looking for one that delivers great customer service, will see that, and that's going to create interest. You yourselves can do similar things. You need to engage and use a proprietary review system that's impartial. You know, I don't know about you, but if I look at consumer reviews on a website and they're not impartial, if they're driven by the business, then there's a tendency not to believe that they're all perfect. So try where you can to use an impartial review system, put them on your own website, and that will help create consumer confidence. Don't be frightened of negative reviews, and we'll talk in a minute about negative reviews and how you can manage those, but you can turn negative reviews and make them positive statements of your commitment to customer service. So can everybody hear me all right? I'm conscious, yeah, everything? Brilliant, okay, super. So I want to talk to you about something that's very prevalent in the corporate world, not so much outside of the corporate world. It's something called Net Promoter Score, NPS. Who's heard of NPS before? A couple of you. Okay, so NPS stands for Net Promoter Score. It's actually been around for a few years now, probably approaching 10 years. It was developed out in the United States, but it's a wonderful little simple metric that all businesses can employ. So if you haven't heard of NPS, you will definitely have been subject to the question. And the question is this one. Using a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is definitely how likely are you to recommend this business to your friends, family and colleagues? So who's all been subject to that as part of the survey, yeah? So you'll all know, that's the NPS question. Now, the NPS question delivers you a response from 0 to 10. And depending on where that customer responds in that scale, will set that customer up as one of 3 principal types: a detractor, a passive, and a promoter. Those customers that score you 0 to 6 are detractors. These are customers that have had a difficult experience with your business. It's been fraught with difficulty, they're not at all happy. They are very vocal. Detractors are very vocal indeed and will not think twice about posting their anxieties, their angst on social media and sharing that disappointment with other people in their peer group. The other thing about detractors is that they are far more sensitive than regular customers. They will be much more sensitive to little things that ordinarily wouldn't cause a problem, but now are major catastrophes. Everything compounds that original negative experience and it only gets worse. And it's really, really important that if you get a detractor, you deal with them efficiently and quickly and you convert them around. And we'll talk about that in a second. Now, at the other end of the scale, you've got people that score you a 9 and a 10. These are promoters. Customers that score you 9 or 10 are really, really engaged with your business. They've had a good experience. They've enjoyed the relationship they have with you. Promoters are less sensitive to price. What's important is relationship. Price is important, it always is, but it's not the overriding driver. So if you're able to identify within your business those that are promoters, you don't have to have offer-led incentives to win their business. You sell on the strength of your consumer proposition and your consumer journey. Promoters are your good business. These people will share their positive experience when prompted to do so. So using reviews positively is a good way of doing that. And then you've got these people here who are the passives. Now passives, I always thought 7 and 8, actually that's quite a good score. And most business people think, oh yeah, I've got 7 or an 8, that's good, I'm doing well. But actually, all the research suggests that somebody that scores you 7 or an 8 is merely passive. Their experience was okay. It wasn't brilliant. I went in, I bought a car, or I had my car serviced, or whatever the situation was. It wasn't brilliant, it wasn't rubbish, it was kind of okay. Now, on the one hand, they're not saying negative things about your business, so I suppose that's a positive. But conversely, neither are they saying positive things. And in fact, people in your business that are here are less likely to give you reviews. So those are the ones that don't give you reviews. And if they do, those are the conquest business of your competitors. It's the passives that will be led away by offers. They're offer-led. It's the passives that will try somebody else. There's not enough affinity between a passive and your business to stick with you. And those, for me, are the scary ones, because I can do something about the detractors, and I'll talk about how we do that. Promoters are already in the right box for me. They love me. They're going to keep working with me. It's the passives. They're the ones that I've not done enough, and they're the conquest business. They're the ones that are going to be stolen by my competitors. So NPS is a very simple metric. You take the overall percentage of your positive promoters, and you deduct from that the overall percentage of your negative detractors. So if 50% of your customers say, I'm a 9 or a 10, I'm a promoter, I had a great experience, and 30% of your customers are detractors, 50 take 30 is 20, that's your NPS score. That's how NPS is calculated. What's really interesting is that when you calculate NPS, you don't count any of those, and I would suggest to you that your biggest tranche of customers will be passive. And they don't even figure in the NPS calculation because they're neither for you nor against you. They don't add to the benefit or the detraction of your business. So NPS is something that corporate business use, and it works very well for corporate business because it allows us to benchmark internally different areas. I can benchmark how our breakdown team are doing against our garage team, against our dealer team, against our insurance team, and it's a level pegging. And it also enables me to compare myself against insurance companies, or if I want to, jam-making companies. It's a simple business metric that fits all aspects of business. Problem is, whilst it works very well in the corporate sector, there isn't any value to a consumer because a consumer doesn't understand what NPS is. They don't understand how it's worked or it's calculated, and it can be quite complicated. So what we've been able to do with View, the company that do our feedback for us, is we've converted those NPS scores into simple star, 5-star metrics. So those are the ones that you will all see. TripAdvisor do it. Most of the proprietary brands do that. We convert our NPS scores into 5-star ratings, and we display those 5-star ratings to the consumer because that's what they understand. And so what we have is the benefit of both worlds. As a business, we're able to see where our customers sit. We're able to segment them. We're able to target our offers accordingly. We're able to work with those that are having a difficult experience and make them positive promoters again. But we also are able to take that information and translate it into a 5-star rating to drive more business into our dealer affiliate network. You get the best of both worlds. So here's an example of how we do that. This particular dealer, this is a real live page. All of these scores here are genuine. 5-star rating, consumers review here plus what their rating is. We're constantly changing, but that gives you an example of how you can use NPS scores and convert them into star ratings. So a little bit more now about managing the customer in difficult circumstances, managing reviews. And the first thing that I want to share with you is the fact that the difference, perception is the key here. We are all in the business of managing perception. Forget what actually happened, because that's kind of immaterial. As far as the consumer is concerned, what they perceived happened is reality. So if we start from that base point and understand that perception is reality, and understand that what the customer thinks happened is their world, we can tailor our approach to them in a different way. Now, I love this particular phrase because it goes against the norm. We all know that one, the customer is always right. I don't believe that's true. In fact, I have millions of examples where the customer's got it wrong. But do you know what? It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're still the customer. They still pay for our products. They still put money in the bank. So that statement is a realization that says, do you know what? The customer may get it wrong sometimes, but it's up to us to manage that. It's up to us to manage that experience, and it's up to us to make sure that their journey is a positive one. And ultimately, that's because they're the customer and they're the one that pays. So, managing reviews. This is the critical thing. First of all, you should request feedback yourselves. Don't rely on social media and other sites that publish reviews straight away to capture feedback. You need to do that yourselves. You need to engage the consumer in the process of capturing feedback so that if there are any difficulties, you're the first to know about it. You then have the opportunity to address those difficulties. You can take an unhappy customer who we know, detractors are very vocal and will share negative experiences at the drop of a hat. You need to ensure that you're addressing those negative experiences quickly, early, correcting them, and avoiding that negative spin out into the social media network and anywhere else for that matter. So, get reviews yourselves. Capture them in a controlled environment that you are able to manage, deal with the customer issue, put things right, and then let that review go public, either through your own website or any other proprietary system. React quickly, don't hang around. If somebody is upset, they will be very, very vocal. So what we do is we engage the consumer in the process of giving feedback within 7 days of them having bought the vehicle. Now, personally, I think that's too long. I'd like to do it within 2 or 3 days, and we'll work towards that. But the earlier you capture that response, that feedback, the quicker you're able to address the issues, the quicker you are able to correct the situation. Turn a detractor into a promoter, and that's what we're going to cover now. So this is something that we call the circle of advocacy. Now, I'll try and explain this. We start here, positive advocacy. A customer buys from your business because they have positive advocacy. They've started on the basis that they've engaged with your company, they've seen good things, they've heard good things, they've seen your advert, they may have been in, they've been speaking to your salespeople, or they've had a conversation with you. There is the position of positive advocacy. And that, in turn, leads the customer to buy. I'm comfortable with you as a business. I'm engaged with you, and nothing you have done leads me to believe you're not a good business to buy from. So I'm going to buy. Now things go wrong. And the problem when things go wrong is that it doesn't just reflect on you as a business, but it reflects on the consumer, because it brings into question their own judgment. Nobody likes to think they're a fool. Have I made the right decision buying from this particular business? It's gone horribly pear-shaped. Maybe I should have gone down the road and bought from somebody else. But at this point, we're not beyond repair. Things have gone wrong. We have negative advocacy. I'm not going to recommend you because things have gone wrong. But it's okay, because you can put it right. And you can address things quite quickly. The problem with just putting it right is that you just meet consumer expectations. So when things go wrong, I expect you to put it right. That's an expectation I have of you. Yet we quite often think, oh, we've put it right, so it's great, everything's hunky-dory. No, it's not. Because it went wrong. Okay, so you've put it right, so what? I'm just at a level where I thought you were before. You've just met my expectation. At this point, at best, you're just going to have somebody who is passive about your business. At best. This is the secret. This is what will turn negative detractors into promoters for your business. And not just promoters, but strong advocates for your business. You have to exceed expectation. I bought a car from you. Things went wrong. You fixed it. Thanks very much. But you've done nothing beyond what I would expect any business to do. What you now need to do is to go the extra mile. How you do that is up to you. It depends on individual circumstances, and that might be something as simple as a bottle of wine or a free valet or whatever the circumstances might lead to. But you must go above and beyond expectation. You must do more than the customer expects. When you do that, you validate the customer's decision to buy from you in the first place. I bought from you because I thought you were a good business. Well, then it went horribly wrong. But fair play to you, you fixed it. Not only did you fix it, but you went above and beyond the call of duty and you did this extra thing for me. In fact, the decision to buy from you was absolutely the right decision because you have shown me what a good business you are in all aspects. Now, the power of that advocacy is far stronger than somebody who's just a regular old promoter. And the reason for that is that you have demonstrated that when things go wrong, you are able to put them right. I don't necessarily have the same luxury when I choose a business elsewhere. You are a proven and known commodity. I know that when things go wrong, you put things right. So when you go through this circle of advocacy here, what you get at the end is stronger positive advocacy than you would have done in the first place. So understand that generating that simple extra, going that extra mile, creates customers for life. So here's some simple rules for you on managing difficult situations. Now, first of all, when things go wrong, deliver bad news straight away. I see quite often this tendency for people to think, oh, I was going to deliver the car on Thursday, but it's not going to be back for another month. I'll wait until Wednesday at 4:30 before I phone the customer and tell them. By then, the customer's made preparations, they're ready, they're at the point of no return. So first of all, if things are going wrong, deliver bad news straight away. The customer is not going to appreciate any bad news, don't get me wrong, but they will appreciate that you've taken the time to tell them as early as you can and given the opportunity to plan and prepare themselves accordingly. Next, speak personally to the customer. Don't cop out on this. You're going to have a difficult conversation. You will, but that's what you've got to do. Because something's gone wrong in your process, you're going to have a difficult conversation. Pick the phone up and speak to the customer. Don't send them an email. Don't send them a text. Don't be on the phone and think, oh God, I hope I get a voicemail so I don't have to speak to somebody. Deliver bad news straight away and speak to the customer in person. Take the pills. The contact you have with the customer is important. Empathize. I can't begin to tell you how many times this is a big piece that's missing. Empathize with the customer. Listen, I'm really sorry. I know that you probably wanted to take the car out this weekend. I know that this is not what you expected. Share some of their pain. It helps. Explain the situation. Don't make excuses. Got to tell you, I've seen this time and time again. I had a customer phone up a dealer we were working with many moons ago, and the dealer said, I did phone you. I phoned you at 8:30. And the customer said, actually, I've got call identification on my phone. I didn't have any phone call from you at all. The dealer lied. It was an out-and-out lie, and they were busted, big time. So don't lie. Tell the truth. The reason that this isn't happening, Mr. Customer, is because we made a mistake. It happens occasionally. I'm really, really sorry. Let me tell you what I'm going to do to put things right for you. And offer the consumer solutions. Try and make their life as easy as possible. Listen, I can come and do that for you today, or we can come next Thursday, which would be better for you. Give the consumer the opportunity to take the best solution for them. And if that doesn't work, let them suggest a solution. And then this bit, remember, go the extra mile. Either now at this point here or later, you must go the extra mile. If you don't do that, all the time and effort and energy you put into sorting that customer's problem out will be wasted, because they won't come back to you again, or they'll be stolen. It's conquest business for your competitors. So if you're going to put things right for a customer, then go the whole hog and make sure that customer is yours forever. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Dealing with an angry customer. Now, this one is really interesting because I probably am the archetypal angry customer. First of all, let me just explain to you, an angry customer isn't angry because of one interaction, because of one problem. An angry customer is angry because of a succession of problems. I phoned up, nobody answered the phone. I phoned up again, somebody did answer the phone, they put me on hold for 10 minutes. I phoned up a third time and they eventually came out to fix it. Only they didn't fix it because it's still broken, and I phoned up and I was on hold again. So a succession of issues leads the customer to becoming an angry customer. They become infuriated with a succession of problems. So first thing to do, let it blow out. Don't just let the customer get it off their chest. Let them scream and shout and say whatever they want to at that point. During that conversation, acknowledge that you're listening to them so that they know that you're on the end of the phone and you haven't disappeared for a coffee. Yep, I understand. Thank you for telling me. Very, very important. You'll know when the customer has blown out because they'll say something like, listen, I don't mean to be angry, or it's not you I'm upset with, or, you know, I'm not normally like this. When you get to that point, you know that the customer has expressed themselves, they've got it off their chest, they're in a position where they are prepared to have a sensible discussion with you. During this process, never interrupt and never, ever argue. Remember what we said earlier on, we're in the business of managing perception. If the customer perceives your coffee's rubbish, your coffee is rubbish. And you can argue as long as the day is that Loathe is the best coffee in the world, but it's not going to make any difference. Don't argue, don't interrupt. When you've gone through that process, you repeat, empathize. Empathize with the situation, show that you're sharing some of that pain. Explain what went wrong. Take the pills. If it's your fault, put your hands up and admit it. I'm really sorry, we cocked up. They'll appreciate the honesty. Offer solutions to put it right, and then take that extra step, to go the extra mile. This is our summary page. So just to kind of summarize some of the things that I've said today, the important thing is that perception is reality. So you're going to get reviews that you don't agree with, that you think are wrong, that in some instances you think, well, I don't even know, did they come to me or did they go somewhere else? But accept that that is their perception. And what you have to do is to manage that perception. Don't try and argue the point, just manage that perception. Use reviews as part of your everyday business. Remember I said earlier on, don't wait for the customer to publicly announce their displeasure or indeed their pleasure with you as a business. Get that information out of them early doors. Get it into your business, manage it, use it positively to generate additional interest into your business. Use a system like the View Reviews one that the RAC, there's some stuff on the chair there that David's brought in. That will help you to do that. It's this early doors, closed field environment. And then once you've got those reviews, you can publish them on your own website, and that will help to generate traffic and build credibility into your proposition. Negative reviews are not negative, they are positive opportunity for you to demonstrate your customer commitment, and that's how you have to see them. Now, when I look at reviews, if there's a page of reviews and they're all 5 stars, do you know the ones I go and look for? They're all the negative reviews. That's the ones I go and look for, because that's the ones I'm interested in seeing. So every time you get a negative review, you can be sure as eggs is eggs that somebody else is going to look at that. So it's your opportunity to make a public statement about your consumer approach, your commitment to the customer journey. That's how you need to perceive it. It's a great opportunity to get your message out there. Learn some of the tips I've given you today about managing customers in difficult situations. I appreciate they're really, dumbed down, nice and easy, but those simple techniques, if you employ them every time you're managing a difficult situation, will benefit you. They will help you manage that customer environment. That's it. Managed well, reviews being available. Okay, yeah. So understand that reviews are here. They're here to stay. You can pretend they're not happening. You can ignore them. Reviews will go on without you knowing about them. Or you can embrace them. You can make them part of your everyday strategy and use them to generate more business for you. So I don't know how much time I've got left. Do I have any time left at all? Okay, so if anybody has any questions, I'll take those now. If you all want to go to lunch, that's cool with me either. So any questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.